Oh, did you mention to Bill that thing, you do have to do that thing still?
I'm not sure if I do.
Oh, okay. It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. It's, oh, here, boom. Terrible. It's Thursday, the 3rd of July. I've done worse, guys, believe it or not. AD 2025. Happy White History Month to all. Okay? All. ALL. Okay? Happy White History Month. And tomorrow is the 4th of July. And we will be here too. Is the plan, okay? If it be the Lord's will. Because who knows, right? Who knows? But that's the plan. We do have the men's forum tonight. Men's forum's first Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. at Bond. It is a highlight of the month. So I recommend you come along, fellas. Ladies not welcome. You're welcome to the women's forum and to church, ladies and kids. But men's forum? Oh, no. But I will get to your calls, everybody. I will get to your super chats if you'd like to super chat. I do appreciate it. TheHakeReport.com. Okay, TheHakeReport.com is where you can find all the places to super chat and to get your swag. I even have a link to JesseLeePeterson.shop from TheHakeReport.com, okay? /show. What's up, T-Flying Monkey? He says, nice peacocks. Yeah, those were nice. That's not my photography, of course. JLP rated the stream over there. And he's, I'm live on, oh, no, hold on. I'm live on Pilled and other places, I do believe. Facebook, punchy.tv/Hake. I must disclaim everything that you hear on the Hake Report is not representative, not even meant to, obviously, represent Bond or JLP or the network. This is for, the Hake Report is for general information. As a caller said yesterday from Michigan, the Hake Report and Forum, because callers call in and talk about all kinds of interesting stuff, sort of, using the term sort of loosely sometimes. But, let's see, did I copy? No, that's it. So general information and, just sort of, general information. And also discussion, and so whatever, it's, and entertainment, the other thing. Entertainment. So, nice. Very nice. 1-888-775-3773 is the phone number. I don't know if I mentioned that. But, lots of stuff going on in the world. So we'll see what happens, huh? We'll see how it goes. But anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys! So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I got my Santa Monica Route 66 t-shirt on. Route 66 stretches from California, maybe all the way to the coast of California, but I'm not sure, to where, like Chicago or somewhere, right? I don't know, but nice. Oh yeah, Santa Monica is the coast, duh. Nice. And I got it at the beach. I got it at some store, okay? So it's not a Hake shirt. Right. And by the way, I don't even represent myself. So the stuff I say, some people like read way into stuff that you say. There was a caller on the JLP show that said that, oh, since Isaiah called Christ the morning star, or Satan the morning star, and Revelation called Christ the morning star, well, Lucifer, Isaiah called Lucifer the morning star, and Revelation called Christ the bright morning star. Therefore, they're the same evil person in the world. Psycho. He thinks he's in Black Hebrew Israelite. Talk about reading way into stuff. Kind of like thinking that the Bible says that the earth is flat in the world. But shout out. Hey, Brandon. Nice to see you. Scarecrow's Garage checking out a Rumble crew. Sweet. I'd like to get to a call or a few, okay? Starting off here. Do you have things to cover? What did you think of Punchy TV yesterday? Got some decent feedback from you guys already. Thank you guys for the feedback and the comments and the support. Punchy TV, we had it with American Anchor Baby and Hake, Derek, and Bill. We talked about space, whether it's real or not, and daredevils and white culture and anti-white criminal culture, and it was kind of fun, kind of cool, very nice. But I'd like to get to Joe in Michigan, who's on the line over here. I believe, Joe, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, thanks for calling, man.
Yes.
Go ahead.
How do you think? Do you like the way Trump's handling the Iran situation? Do you think he's doing a job?
I think so. I don't know, because I don't know the ins and outs of the things, and I don't particularly think I would handle it any better than he. So I think he's doing an all right job. What do you think?
I think he's doing.
And basically, it seems like it's over.
I think he's doing an all right job, and I just want to say, Trump 2028.
Nice. I'm with you, man. Trump third term. Let's do it. So I haven't really heard anything on the Iran front in a few days now. It feels like old news. It feels like all the hullabaloo is past, at least for the time being. But I'm sure there's always something going on, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he right to bomb Iran? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I can't say either way. But hey, the other presidents got away with that, so why not him? We're the big bully. We're the big boss of the world. We're the big bully of the world. We might as well throw our weight around, I guess. What were you about to say?
Can you tell Jesse he's my best friend?
Sure. Jesse, you're Joe from Michigan's best friend. I think that's true, actually, man. Nice.
Tell Jesse for me, Trump 2028.
Will do, man. Have you called my show before, Joe, in Michigan?
Yes, and
nice.
You'll never guess who my brother is. He says he's called this show before.
You want me to try to guess who it is?
No, my brother said he called the show before once.
He called Hake before?
He called the show before, the Jesse Lee Peterson show.
Oh, right on.
You know his name?
Don't dox his full name, but what's his first name?
Bend Over.
Oh. Nice. Right on. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. That doesn't sound like a first name, but take care, man.
Yeah, bye.
All right, bye. I wonder if he's being serious. It might be being serious, actually, because there's people who use that, username, or there may be one guy who uses that username. It's possible. You never know. That's cool. Got him. Okay. And Jermaine in Georgia, who's on the line over here. Jermaine, thank you for calling, man. What's up?
Oh, hey, James.
Hey.
Oh, Canada.
Canada, not Georgia.
Yeah.
I was wondering. It didn't sound quite right.
Yeah, you can tell.
You sound like you could be from Georgia, though.
Maybe. Do you like my song there yesterday? Someone was saying that I have a crush on you. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, you gave me a Michael Bolton song.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks for the coffee and the lyrics. It was very
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, I was calling about the Candace Owens 20v1. I think it was a feminist debate. I didn't watch the entire.
So is this another viral? Because I don't know about it at this point. You're telling me I'm just finding out from the first time from you. So this woman, this black woman, she's turned conservative or what something. I don't know. Candace Owens.
Yeah.
She went on the Jubilee channel and versus 20 people, liberals presumably or something.
I think it was more of a feminist talk. I didn't fully watch the entire thing because it's so long.
Oh.
Like.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was once a liberal.
Right.
Now she's conservative.
Candace Owens, that woman.
Yeah. There was a point I was brought up by one of she's a sex worker, kind of.
Okay.
And she was saying to Candace Owens that, Candace Owens says it's better for parents, like the woman, to be at home to take care of the kid while the father works, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then she brought up the point, then why is Candace Owens not out?
You're making like tapping noises on the phone or something. Like, I don't know what's going on, but you're kind of coming in and out.
Yeah.
Come close to your phone and be in regular phone and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. There was my headphone card was tapping on it.
Okay.
My bad. Yeah, so she was saying that, when the wife stays at home and takes care of the kids, it's better for the family. But then the lady that's debating her said, well, why are you not at home taking care of your kids?
Yeah.
You're traveling and doing all of these speeches. And Candace Owens made a point. Yes, she works from home. But the lady was saying that what's the word she used? She said that what's the word? Like, when you go and you're ambitious. Yeah, she said you're ambitious and women should strive to be like her. So realistically, they're just both up there judging each other. So it was just kind of funny to see.
That's interesting. They're both judging each other over being feminist, kind of.
Yeah. So it was just funny to see, and I'm like, wow, what a mess.
Right.
Yeah. So,
except one is saying that one is accusing Candace of being feminist and that's a good thing, an inspiration, right? She's calling Candace an inspiration.
Pretty much.
But I disagree with her on that because she's not really an inspiration. She's just. I don't think so. I don't watch her enough to know, I guess, but.
an inspiration meaning that she's a mother and she's working. So Candace Owens wants to be an example, but she's not living by her own example. So it kind of contradicts what she's doing.
Yeah.
So that's why she's judging her, and they didn't realize what was happening. Like when Jesse did a church one time, and he was saying, are you going to work on time? Are you doing your job properly? And if you're coming late, people are going to judge you, and they're going to say, oh, this person comes to work late, so I can come to work late.
Yeah.
But if you want to be the lighter, you have to be a perfect example, because if not, people are just going to look at you and judge you, saying, oh, you're saying this, but yet you're doing that.
Right.
So it was just kind of funny to see.
People love judging. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah, they can't help
And,
themselves.
and they try to accuse you of hypocrisy or of not doing what you preach or something like that. And are they agreeing or with what you preach, or are they disagreeing with what you preach? It's not about whether it's true or false. It's about just attacking the person.
Yeah. I mean, they both have good points from what I saw.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just not understanding.
Right. That's typical woman stuff. Making supposed points, but with no understanding.
Yeah. And there was another woman, too. You might have seen her video. I don't know her name, but she was making a point about abortion.
Okay.
And she was saying pretty much like abortion is bad. But then the lady that was talking to her was saying, well, why are you not home taking care of your kids? And she got pretty upset about it because she's kind of a feminist, but she fight against feminist ideology.
Okay.
And she was saying, well, my husband is at home taking care of the kids. And if it was man up here talking, you wouldn't say that to the man. It's because I'm a woman. And she's saying, you're anti-feminist, but yet she's fighting against the feminist agenda. So it's just interesting to see.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Do you listen to women in general, like on the internet?
Well, not really. I'll see some clips and I'll like, oh, this is interesting. And I'll just listen to it. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because when they talk, it's like they should not speak. But it's kind of funny to see because they say a lot without saying anything. It's kind of funny, I find.
What do you mean they say a lot without saying anything?
Well, they'll make a point, but it contradicts what they're saying, right?
Uh-huh.
So, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. And then they, their body language says all kinds of different things. And the way they speak, the insecure way that so many women speak is also saying stuff. And it's a bit obnoxious, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a messed up world, but we're in it, and that's just it. I just see it. I'm like, okay, nice. I just move on with my life.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny.
Yep. Well,
All
right
right,
on, man.
James.
Thank you for the tip.
All right, bye.
Take care. Aaron in Maryland is on the line over here. Aaron, thanks for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, how are you, man? How you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Hey, you gave me a great big old laugh this morning. I couldn't even contain it. It was very, very funny when you were reading the Hake news. I'm trying to find out, man, why you got beef with sign language, man? What was that about? In the morning? What's going on with that, man?
Okay, so
that
let me
tell you. I feel. I didn't even expect it.
I didn't know that I had any problem with sign language until. Well, actually, I did. It's never looked right. Okay, it looks silly. It looks ridiculous. And so this was news from the NAD, NAD, National Association of the Deaf, or something like that. They're suing our greatest president's administration because there is this whole liberal propaganda about being so-called disabled, right?
Yeah.
And I call it handicapped because I grew up, they were calling it handicapped. I don't know what it was before, but handicapped is a plenty good word for it rather than disabled. And so the National Association of the Deaf is suing to require Trump to provide American Sign Language interpreters at all White House briefings, press briefings.
Right.
And we only recently, I think, within the past, let's say, 10 to 15 years, started seeing sign language interpreters at all these things looking ridiculous. Remember Obama? I think it was Obama at the Nelson Mandela. He had the communist, I think he was, funeral over in South Africa, and Obama's saying something in this fake sign language. Fat, stylish black dude is doing all this fake sign language stuff, looking ridiculous, and he got caught being a fake. I think. But yet somehow he got in South Africa. I think it's South Africa, at this funeral, big, huge funeral with all these so-called dignitaries looking ridiculous. And you see it at the Biden administration, I think, brought in these sign language people just looking silly. And so Trump is like, no, we're not doing that in his second term. And Trump knows style, and he knows presentation, and he knows what looks good. Trump didn't wear that mask in general. He didn't wear a mask looking ridiculous until he went into a hospital. He was walking into the hospital with a mask on, because that's what you're supposed to do inside of a hospital. Protect yourself and others, I guess, from these germs. But, during the China virus. So he knows what looks good and what looks right. And he knows, I'm assuming this is Trump. I have no idea, really. But he knows that it doesn't look right. But these people want to force it down our throats like they're so important. Here, where'd I go? The policy.
They're just using it. They're using it. They're using it to say, like, you don't care about the deaf people.
Yeah.
You need to do this. Yeah.
They're depriving our ability to participate in the democratic process, according to some lawyer, Ian Hoffman, probably not a Christian, by the way. Shout out. I love the Jews. But anyway, the Justice Department said that live closed captions, and somebody said the deaf hate closed captions, and written transcripts should be sufficient, but blah, 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 blah. The deaf can read Trump's body language and know to trust him, okay? All these other people, phony people, whatever. There's a district judge, Amir Ali. It doesn't sound like an American name, by the way. Amir Ali has not yet issued a ruling. I don't know, maybe he has by now. But yeah, I just think that it looks ridiculous, and it's like a liberal inclusion thing. And they love to weaken and make a mockery of themselves and everybody else with their evil mama spirit. And so they have all these drag this and drag that, LGBT this, women at the front making press conference statements. It looks as ridiculous as that. Let me see, a YouTube feed / history. I don't know if this is right.
But can deaf people still read? They can't read?
They can read, I think.
They can't read. So, I mean, they just put subtitles on that thing and we're good. Why? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what the big deal is about it. But I'm telling you, man, that had me laughing. You were like, stupid sign language. Get it out of here. Get it out of my
Exactly,
news.
man. Let's see.
I know what you mean, though. It's distracting. It is distracting. We don't need to see all that. We're trying to focus on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look at this. I'm showing, for the people watching, I'm showing this press conference looks just as stupid. We're showing a press conference in which this dainty little black woman, dainty little communist, I'm calling her communist. We'll call her socialist, because she's not strong enough to be a tanky, according to one of my former communist experts. In front of all these females, this joke-looking, purportedly white Christian person with a fitted suit and a collar, doing a press conference thing in front of this beautiful building with wood panel walls. Look at this beautiful building, and it just makes a mockery of leadership. That's not leadership there. But so I think that I am with Trump on good presentation. You have a lot of noise in the background.
My God. Oh, sorry. Yeah, some guy was backing up right here. My bad. Yeah, I can't see what you're saying, but yeah, I don't think it's that. I get what you're saying. It is a mockery, but I think it's just another nuisance that they're throwing. I don't think it's that crazy. You know what I mean? They're gonna try stuff. It is what it is.
And you know what? Yeah. They can make fun of me, and I don't blame them for.
Who's gonna make fun of you?
You know, the liberals. Like if I were to
you worried about it?
No, I'm not worried about it. But they can make fun of me for like overreacting to their ridiculousness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I can start to look ridiculous for reacting to their ridiculousness, and so they just call me ridiculous, not realizing that they themselves are ridiculous because I make myself look ridiculous.
That's the whole point, though. That's what they want. They want that reaction out of you to be like, this is so ridiculous. This is stupid. Get it. They're like, yes, nice.
What do you
acceptable.
hate? You hate the disabled, Hake?
Right.
Yes.
It's just such a dumb thing to say.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I wanted to call you and tell you that, man. I thought it was hilarious. Thanks for the laugh, bro. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Yeah.
All right, have a good one.
You as well. Take care. Wow. There's one line open, guys. The lines are filling up. While we're on this topic, I may as well get to beautiful ARDENE in Colorado. How you doing, ARDENE?
Okay, I'm a little shocked at you and your person that you were just talking to. Of all the things to worry about in the world,
Yes.
you're worried about somebody doing sign language. Unbelievable! This is how you spend your time. Seriously, this is how you spend your brain cells. This is what you do. That's so sad.
Well,
It's really sad.
am
It's
I
really
right,
sad
though?
that
Am I
that-
right?
No, you're not right. Why
And
would you
what
think
am I
you're
saying
right?
what am I saying that's not right?
Okay, why is it distracting when you're you can't multitask? You can't see somebody in a corner and you can't listen to a speech? Why can't you multitask and say, hey, I can see that, accommodate the people who can't see too well or hear too well, I'm sorry. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Why
are
does
you-
that bother you?
Are you pretending
Why?
are you saying that it's not distracting?
No, it's not. Why should
are
it be distracting?
I think it's I didn't use the word distracting. I said that it looks ridiculous.
Okay, it looks ridiculous. Why does it look ridiculous?
Because
Why?
look at this.
What's ridiculous about it?
There's this. Okay, this one is particularly ridiculous. I'm showing an Inside Edition, some random thing. This guy is actually communicating gibberish, pizza, monsters, while this woman.
Yeah.
This is Inside Edition, sign language interpreter during a Hurricane Irma,
Yeah.
actually communicates gibberish. So this is like a strong-looking man communicating sign language, but it's gibberish, and it has this woman who's presenting this supposedly serious news, making a mockery of them, standing right next to him. It looks silly.
What's a mockery? What's a mockery? What's stupid about that? What I don't understand.
Well, in this particular case, he was communicating gibberish, and this happens a lot, actually.
Then we get a better sign interpreter or sign maker.
How about we don't need
I mean,
it?
what's the problem?
Look,
how come? Why not?
And maybe we should get rid of these women too, who are doing this dumb presentation. Look at these women, leaderships.
God.
What?
You really, are you trolling people to get them to call you in? I don't understand why this would bother you. Why does this bother people? Why?
I wouldn't even have brought it up, except that when I'm presented with it, right? When I'm presented with it, I think it looks silly. I make fun of it. I'm like, ooh, look at this. And then
you actually you do that as a person. You would make fun of disabilities?
I'm not making fun of the disability or the handicap. I'm making fun of how silly it looks when somebody's trying to be serious and then you're making sign language and you have that in the corner to kiss up to be a to kiss up and be inclusive.
So I really honestly, I mean, like I've told you guys in the past, and I told like Jesse Lee Peterson, that I got into because I like to hear different versions of things.
Right.
You know, different attitudes about things instead of watching regular news.
Thank you.
But it's like, you know, whoa, you guys are pushing the envelope on trying to find things to talk about.
Well, no, it was presented it was in the morning update. Somebody literally sued to force the Trump administration to do this.
Yeah, it should be done.
Why?
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with getting rid of it?
Why not? What's wrong with doing it?
It looks silly.
What's wrong with doing it?
I think it looks silly.
Because it looks silly.
Yep.
Whoa. Seriously. So little orange man with
big
the hair
orange man
combed over
you.
his head. Big orange man. Yeah, really big.
How
More
tall
than
are you?
215 pounds. Huh?
How tall
I'm 5'1", 5'2".
See? So you can't call him little.
5'2". Yeah, he has it. Well, he wears lifts, but it's like you shrink as you get older. Do you know that?
I've heard it.
He's shrinking.
That's
He's
okay.
shrinking.
But he's
I was about
gaining in
5'4", so he's
spiritual stature. He is the strongest man in America.
Even you're laughing on that one.
I'm laughing because
Seriously,
it's true.
Even you're laughing. Oh my God, you're unbelievable. I like you. You're a great man. You're a great man. But it's like you guys are really pushing the limit on what you're trying to get people to get involved.
When you were growing up, did they have sign language right next to the person presenting the information on the TV?
Sometimes they didn't, but I really do appreciate that they have the American Disabilities Act that enforces that kind of stuff.
I don't like that.
It's a good idea.
I think that's victimhood stuff.
Victimhood is helping. That's like my previous husband that passed away.
Rest in peace.
He was a double amputee, a diabetic double amputee. He had to wear prosthetics.
Wow.
That's wrong?
No, that's brutal. That's a rough life. I salute him for his dealing with it and living life anyway. That's cool.
But it's helping the handicapped. What's wrong with sign language? Helping people so they understand what's being communicated.
I like sign language. I think it's pretty cool, actually. But I don't like it in the presentation right next to a dignified man president or the man president's
No.
woman.
No, you're talking about orange man with a comb over on his hair. That's what you're talking about.
It's a beautiful comb over. It's very stylish. It's iconic.
No, it's not.
Yes,
no,
it is.
It's
awesome.
You've never dated a man with a comb over. Seriously,
well,
it's not
no,
that great.
I wouldn't.
It's not that great. It's like seriously, a comb over is not that great of a thing. Trust me.
Whatever.
Just live with your politics and go with it.
I know, but
my God,
he's a dignified man, politician. He's married. He doesn't have to date. But anyway, the point is,
how come he did affairs then? What was that?
The affairs were because he was into sex, I guess. If he really did have affairs, he was into sex and he couldn't help himself.
He did.
Well, whatever. But you're changing the subject. Though. You notice that you change the subject on everything. Don't you notice that's ridiculous?
Is that right? What's ridiculous about it? You're a talk show host, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so you get to change the subject on everything?
Evolving?
Huh?
Don't you want things to be evolving and making things a better talk show for you? Don't you want that? Or do you want to stay on helping the disabled?
Do you think
that it's the talk show? That's your call. I mean, if you want to do that, fine. I don't care.
You think it's a better show for you to be? You think it's a better show for me to let the caller go all over the place, all around the mulberry bush, the monkey chase the weasel?
Do you want to talk about this sign language still?
Well, no, I don't care. Yeah, but you notice that you changed the subject, like because.
Okay, we'll go back to sign language.
I don't care.
It's so ridiculous that you guys are worried about.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it.
Gosh.
I'm not worried about it. I'm just expressing something that everybody knows is true.
It's not true.
It is true. It looks silly.
Maybe in your small circle. It doesn't look silly. It's a beautiful language.
It is beautiful. It's beautiful in its own right, away from our greatest president.
Why away from our greatest idiot man? Why from that?
Because he doesn't need some sign language person to make a mockery of him, and the truth that he speaks. How's that
making a mockery of him? He's making a mockery of himself. How's that making a mock? How is somebody doing signing making a mockery of him?
Because it looks goofy.
It doesn't look goofy.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. We have a difference of opinion.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And it's like, my opinion, basically, I think 95% of the people agree with me.
The crowd is always wrong.
You're on the minimal. The crowd. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right, because they got idiot men in the presidential office, right? Yeah, you're right. The crowd's always wrong.
Whatever.
Yeah, have a great day.
You as well. Ardene in Colorado. 5-1, doxed. That was fun. Right on. Okay, so I have a few super chats that I'd like to read before I get back to your calls and perhaps even some stories here. Over on, first, Gregatron says, it's payday. Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly. And down here, Harmony bought 3 coffees. Shout out, Hake. Gonna go see some fireworks tomorrow? She asks. You know, that's a good question. I don't know if they're legal in the streets where we are. And since we're white, we don't necessarily violate the law the way the Mexicans do. You know, during the China virus, they said, no fireworks. And then all across LA, because they're all Mexicans and none of them pay any attention to the law and, or these dumb China virus shutdowns, they were all firing off Mexicans during the firing off fireworks like Mexicans do all across LA. Into the air, illegal fireworks, mind you. So shout out to them for that. I was proud of the pro-illegal Mexicans who were firing off illegal fireworks illegally and against the rules of the dumb China virus shutdowns, communist shutdowns. So I don't know, I probably will see some fireworks in the sky from these people who don't respect the law. Dumb laws. Anyway, I loved the 4th of July as a kid. Me too. I had the black snake thing that you lit up and it stained the curb and stuff like that. I like those things that you throw on the ground and they snap. Pow! Those things that are crinkled into like paper or whatever. Sparklers and the flowers. If you don't drill or pinch the flowers. Safe and sane, not dumb and dangerous. I like these other things. Fountains and stuff. We didn't do bottle rockets. We didn't do M80s. We didn't do stuff like that. We do family-friendly fireworks. But rest in peace to my grandparents. And, but I may see some family. Picking out an old Navy 4th of July shirt every year and heading down to the local marina, very cool, that held a fair, you know, a fair, like a county fair or whatever, and fireworks show over the water. Heaven on earth, says Harmony. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. Very cool. Yeah. So yeah, I probably will go. Harmony, thank you. Looking forward to it. I hope that I hope I make it. You know, we're not promised tomorrow, but I should be live here on the show tomorrow, the day after the men's forum, and JLP and the Fallen State and American Anchor Baby. JC from Little Rock, Arkansas, bought a coffee. Happy White History Month to you, JC. He says, hi, Jamie Antoine. By the way, somebody asks Hake, why do you have a black middle name? Anton, or Anton, is not, at least not originally, black. That was my great-grandpa's name, Anton. Or he went by Anton. That's how he said it, Anton, I heard, by way of my mother. So if she's to be believed, his first name, I believe, was Anton. And so I'm James Anton Hake, not named after a black. Though I wouldn't put it past my family or the prior generation to name a kid after a black. But no, it's not a black middle name. Anton origin. Pardon me, JC, I have to interrupt your coffee. The name Anton is of Latin origin. Latin is not black, although some try to accuse Latin of being black. Derived from the Roman family name Antonius, and Onius, a variant of the name Anthony. There are people named Antony, or Antony, and has spread across various languages and cultures. Precise meaning is debated, often linked with the Latin word Antonius, which means priceless or invaluable. James Priceless Hake. Is priceless? Priceless is different from worthless. Invaluable is different from valueless, I think. Additionally, some sources suggest a connection to the Greek word anthos, meaning flower. Oh, no, don't say that. Manly flower. The name Anton is a short form of the Roman name Antonius, blah, 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 blah. Marcus Antonius, Mark Antony, I mean. Historically, name associated with the Roman family Antoni. So what, am I part Italian? In modern names, there's modern, because Rome is Italy, right? Popular name in Eastern Europe, particularly countries like Russia and Poland. Oh no, don't call me a Polak. Is it bad to say Polak? So but anyway, this person calls me Jamie Antoine, but it's Anton. Or Anton. I say Anton. James Anton Hake. James Anton Hake. James Anton Hake. I say Anton. But in honor of my great-grandpa, whatever, you know. Didn't mean to break my word, but yet again I got summoned on Monday. Mark, how dumb do you have to be to confuse JC and CJ? But you are right, CJ is a devil worshiper, claims he. But so are you. You're right, JC. Orval Faubus, hopefully that's not a bad word or name, was known for wanting children not to have a proper education simply because they're black. Please look up the Little Rock Nine. So Orval Faubus was one of his white history heroes, huh? All these educated people. Please look up the Little Rock Nine. It's my alma mater and the reason I fight for black rights. Also, Mark, you're not going to debate CJ? Weak. Stephen is right. Why is Hayden always, Haden, always doing that weird giggling? I don't know. I suppose I could have heard him laugh, and you could call it a giggle. Wouldn't call it a weird giggle. It seems like a sincere laugh, usually. When people, to quote that dude, Ivana Goofy, we need more people like Carmelo Anthony. Mark is not and by Carmelo Anthony, he's not referring to the basketball player. He's referring to the alleged murderer. And is he suggesting that we need more blacks to stab whites in the heart and kill them in what should be just a mundane little confrontation on the amongst high schoolers? Is that what you're saying? What do you mean? What do you mean, CJ? JC, that doesn't seem right. CJ has said extreme stuff too, by the way. But he's more like obviously mocking. JC, I'm going to chalk that up to obviously mocking, trolling. But, wouldn't put it past anyone, any evil person to wish ill upon others. Mark is not a Fed, but I do want him to have the same fate as David Duke, Azador, and Richard Hake. Richard Hake? Finally, Joe has caught... I wonder what that's referring to. I'm laughing because I can only guess, and my guesses may be wrong. Journalist, Richard Hake. No relation that I know of. Died in April 2020. Born in the Bronx, 1969. He was a journalist. Died at the tender age of 51. Beloved and trusted news host, died. Longtime New York City radio host. Wow. I'd never heard of this, that I recall. Died on Friday in his home. Whoa. I'm sorry, I looked it up. Mr. Hake produced and created live radio feature segments that focused on breaking news, culture, artistic, and sound portraits. He doesn't even look related to me. Well, he does, I suppose. You never know. But that's not even my blood name, I heard. Goli Sheikholis Slami confirmed the death. What did he die of? They talk about all this other stuff. He was unflappable. That's cool as a broadcaster. Always calm. Richard James Hake, he was born too, a police detective. I wonder if it was pronounced Hake too. Huh. Anyway, nice. Thank you, you malicious coffee giver. Okay, so anyway, finally Joe has called you after years. Why ban him? Ban William III. He's boring. At least Mark, Mushmouth, Boomhauer, Jeff from Louisiana, and those psychos David and Robert are entertaining. Adriana is just as flat as Mead and Alex. Oh, come on. Adriana, the rapper and singer, she's not that flat. It's beautiful. It's not flat. I think it was nice. I have never heard her and cringed or even felt any inward discomfort in my ear. Because, you know, when somebody sings off key, it's painful. But no, she's all right. I think you're ashamed to music. Yeah, I know. And fire Joel and still do punchy, despicable. But again, I disavow. Bye, Hakey Bear. Laughing faces with tears. Some of them sideways. Oh, and I see her wearing yet another number 2 colored shirt. Clown. Laughing faces clown. I personally think brown suits me. So thank you very kindly. All in good fun. We'll just chalk it up. And anyway, even if he didn't mean it in good fun, we can take it in good fun, right? Or not take it so seriously. Because honestly, he doesn't even represent himself. Bill bought 3 coffees. Ardene is just like Mama, beta female, and Hake did Joel and his wife got accidentally deported. LM blank O, laughing face sideways, joking. Yeah, of course. No, he had to leave in a hurry, apparently, and we wish him well. Joel Friday is not on the network anymore, but thank you kindly for your great service, Joel Friday. No longer here. Okay, let me present a touch bit of news. Be careful out there, 4th of July, travel, you know, there's drunks on the road, even during the day, and high people too, they say. And those high people, sometimes they can get crazy, and drunks can too. And then some people are sober and they're a pain to deal with. So watch out, people, be careful. And also there are criminals, outright criminals, with or without the drugs, out there. So be careful. Be wise. House Republicans falling in line with the big, beautiful bill. Cortez. Sandy Cortez called it a deal with the devil. She knows all about deals with the devil. This bill is a deal with the devil, she says. It explodes our national debt. Oh, Lord. Like, when have you ever heard Sandy Cortez, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, care about the national debt? She loves the devil. It militarizes our entire economy. Not sure what she means by that. She may have an interesting point to make with that. And it strips away health care and basic dignity of the American people. Newsflash, you cannot strip away somebody's dignity. Even if you strip them naked, they can still have their dignity if they have dignity at all. Even if you enslave them, deprive them of everything, you do what the cartels did, you do this and do that and do all that. Although they're dead, if they had dignity to begin with, the dignity is not gone by anything that anybody else does. So that's dumb. You don't know what you're talking about with that dignity. You better just stay with the devil, New York Democrat, so-called Representative Sandy, on Trump's mega bill. which Republicans are hoping to pass by the 4th of July. And so it's probably and so supposedly Commie Nonsense Network finds that quotable. Yeah, it's quotable. I'm quoting it. They're quoting it. And they found it newsworthy to bring up in the top 5 news stories this accessibility communist buzzword for the handicapped people. I'd love to hear our resident handicapped expert weigh in on it. If she cares to, whatever. And by the way, space is so real. A $4 million meteorite from Mars. A piece of Mars fell on Earth somehow. I don't get how. I don't get it. I don't get how something left Mars. World's biggest Mars rock could sell for $4 million, according to Commie Nonsense Network. Space science. Look at that. The NWA, not to be confused with N-words with attitude, 16788 meteorite. Look at that. So this thing fell to Earth, right? That's what meteorite means. A meteor stays in the sky or above in the heavens, and a meteorite fell down to Earth. Expected to fetch up to $4 million when it goes up on auction later this month in White History Month. 54 pounds. Woo. That could have hurt somebody. Compared with most Martian meteorites, it's massive. Which tend to be small fragments. Meteorites are what's left when a comet or asteroid or meteoroid survives its passage through Earth's atmosphere. Wow, will you look at that? A close-up view of the meteorite's surface. And did it look like this before it passed through our surface or after? I mean, did it change? Obviously, it looks like that after, I guess. Because I guess going through, you would burn up, some of the jagged parts might smooth out because kind of like tumbling a rock or whatever. A rock, you know how the rocks on the shore are often smooth because of the water and the bumping up against other rocks. It kind of buffs out all the jagged parts of the rock and makes them smooth. You know, I didn't bring my towel out to the beach recently, and I was able to lay out on a bed of rocks for, 10 minutes or so, whatever. And it was nice. Hardly any bugs crawled on me either. So I didn't have to take my towel. Very simple, very cool. And I didn't get sand all over me. You know, because that's the reason that you bring a towel, so you don't have to have all this sand on you when you get up. Monumental specimen, 70% larger than the next biggest. I don't get how it actually even happens. 400 Martian meteorites have ever been found on Earth. How do they know that it's Martian? Martian being Mars. I heard that some people think that the moon was from Earth. Like it broke off from Earth somehow. Crazy. Weathered by its journey through space and time, its immense size and unmistakable red color sets it apart as a once-in-a-generation find. A tangible connection to the red planet, our celestial neighbor. Celestial means heavenly. The heavens that are space, right? Which is real. Shout out, space deniers. We love you. If anyone. Captured the human imagination. It was probably removed from the Martian surface and blasted into space by an asteroid impact that was so powerful it turned parts of the meteorite into glass. A glassy crust can also be seen on its surface, formed as it hurtled through Earth's atmosphere, per Sotheby's, if you're to believe Sotheby's. So it'll go under the auction hammer. Sold. Sold. Oh, some people think it should go into like some public museum or whatever, some greedy professor person who wants all the people to see it. That's nice. Interesting. It's a really fabulous rock, says some gal. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. But explain that, space deniers. You can't. You can't. Okay. Hang on, people. Okay, nice. Australia banned Kanye. Did you hear about that? Or I guess they did. Australia. We don't need that in Australia. Ye, the rapper formerly known, to this day he's known as Kanye West, but he changed his name legally. But he's still known as Kanye West, okay? He called it his slave name, and I am pro slave name. Australia canceled Kanye West's visa over the HH song, which I disavow. So he had his visa canceled. A song promoting Nazism. So I'm sorry, I thought this was Australia. Whatever, they don't love him. They can't overlook an offense. A supposed offense. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Crazy stuff going on in the world. Oh. Last quick thing. You know how Sean Combs was also known as Diddy. Before that, he was known as Puff Daddy or something like that. The great Scott Adams stated this. Scott Adams of Dilbert and generally sort of pro-Trump independent thinker guy fame. He asks, is it too soon to discuss a pardon for Diddy? D-I-D-D-Y, that black rapper speaking of. The news is telling me his prosecutions involved a consensual acts that would typically not be prosecuted. He was found not guilty of the more serious charges. I'm not defending anything Diddy allegedly did, just don't want to see the justice system treating him worse than the norm, which is all too common now in the so-called justice system because it's filled with corrupt, politically motivated people subject to the whims of the crowd and the masses and making examples in fame-seeking and ego mess. Right? Right. And so this is what somebody asked our greatest president. And by somebody, I mean the great Fox News guy, that young Fox News guy, the one with the father who's also on Fox News. So this is what he asks Trump. And this was, I guess, I don't know when. Check this out. Oh, Lord. Oh, no, here. Is it going to play?
Diddy. Once in 2012 that Diddy.
Hang on, let me see. I shouldn't have done that.
Once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening. And I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. from what I read. I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So I can't, it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated.
What in the world? Wait, I don't think that it finished. If I think somebody was mistreated, did I get disconnected? Am I stream okay? Let me just double check here. Come on.
Politics, and you do what's right. A popularity contest.
Okay.
Different person when you run for politics, and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So I can't, it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated.
Whatever. You get the point. I think it's just X or something. Thanks for checking it, I guess. Look, seems okay. Okay, so if you think somebody was mistreated, you would, maybe do it. Nice. That was Peter Ducey, I guess. Golden Rule TV, #1 chatter right now, says Diddy is a devil. And he says Trump would be cool to go bald with a full beard. Man, I do not trust Golden Rule TV's taste necessarily. Anyway, right on. Fair-minded Trump. And back in the day, he I don't know if I should play this.
Donald Trump's past comments about Sean Diddy.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
Donald Trump's past comments about Sean Diddy Combs are getting new attention. A clip of the former president praising the hip-hop mogul on a 2012 episode of The Celebrity Apprentice has resurfaced in the wake of Diddy's bombshell arrest and indictment on...
I don't know if I want to play it because I don't want to get copyright struck, but he says, I'm a fan of him. I'll defend him. I'll stick up for him. But that was back in 2012 when some woman didn't want to answer whether Diddy's a good person. Whatever. But yeah, it does seem very selective, and as others have pointed out, it's all part of the attack on men. At least I like good music, claims he. So claims he. That's up for debate too, honestly. I like not good music too, as well as good music. But that was a nice, fair-minded response from our greatest president. I know I think so. And it is unmistakably an attack on men. And people fall for it. People participate with it. And it's a shame. So I got the supers and coffee is done. I got the news. What all did we cover? Let me just double check. Watch out for the 4th of July. The big beautiful bill. Oh yeah, Cortez. AOC-Cortez. Being ridiculous. The Mars meteorite. That's cool. And free speech. No free speech in Australia. They don't respect people's freedom of speech. There's a right and wrong way to respect the freedom of speech. Trump has the right way, I think. Pardon Diddy? Trump. Okay, so let's get back to your calls. Mark in Los Angeles, California, is on the line here. Mark, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
Good. Happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month to you as well.
You know, I've been noticing, I don't think any other caller greeted you that way, or am I wrong?
I don't think anybody volunteered it so far.
Yeah, I've been listening up. I know I didn't do it when I called the other day.
Daniel may have. Daniel in Texas might have. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, we got somebody thinking.
Yeah.
Wanted to respond to the guy, I don't know, the one who wrote about Orval Faubus to you this morning, earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know the quote that he quoted Faubus on. I hadn't heard it before, and I was barely able to understand or make out what you were saying, but something about black women shouldn't be educated or black people shouldn't be. Is that what it was?
It might have been. It did sound something to that effect.
Okay. Think about his statement, if he said it. Let's assume he said it. Think about what he said, and then think about the recent Harvard college graduation segregated for black women getting their doctorate. I don't know if you saw it or not. Back in last month or May, they were twerking and jumping around, doing the jig or whatever you call it, and it was disgraceful. Think about that, and think about Faubus's words.
You know what?
Sink in.
I think it had to do with he is known for the 1957 Little Rock crisis when he refused to comply with the decision of Brown versus Board of Education in the so-called Supreme Court.
I know all that. But
ordered the Arkansas National Guard to prevent the black students from attending Little Rock Central High School. So those black kids still would have had an education, just not at the white school.
Okay, but does it quote him in the article on that, whatever he said your writer wrote to you?
No, I think I don't think that he is. My JC in Little Rock, I think, is falsely saying that he didn't want blacks to have a proper education because they're black children. And he thinks, apparently, because he's assuming that blacks couldn't get a proper education amongst themselves without whites. I guess that's what JC's thing is. He doesn't think that blacks know how to educate themselves, which they do.
I mean, there's no direct quote.
Yeah.
Not that I would disagree, but I'm saying, I wonder if the writer just made that up, or
I think he did. He tends to make stuff up.
Okay, so
you know how people are really in their heads and just assign meaning to what's not there. That's what happened. I'm pretty sure. There may be where he says, "Oh, blacks shouldn't be reading because they're trouble when they read. They get up on their high horse." I could imagine somebody saying that, but I don't know of Orval Faubus making that statement.
Yeah. So okay, that answers that.
Yeah.
On the question of White History Month itself, do you know who originated it before Jesse Lee?
No.
Tom Metzger.
Nice.
And I don't remember the month, though. I don't know, because it's been 35 years. But he had designated 1 month on the calendar for White History Month. So it wasn't, I'm sure Jesse didn't connect with that. Maybe he did, I doubt it. But just for the record, it's been around before. So I just thought you ought to know that.
Nice.
And then I got a slogan for you, and I'll let you go for White History Month. And it goes, gas, the only cure for black crime and red treason.
Terrible.
Think about it. Think about it.
Well, we do need, you're referring to the death penalty, right? The gas chamber?
Right. Actually, that sign was carried by Rockwell in 1967 at San Quentin Prison, where they put the last cop-killing black man to death. And then they ended the death penalty in California until it was, brought back 30 years later. I don't think it's been used more than a couple times since 67. But Rockwell protested outside of the prison with that sign, gas, the one I just gave.
Okay.
And he was attacked. He was physically attacked for that. But I think it sends the right message, and I agree with that message. Look at all the killers that are walking, black and white, and everything else that they're not giving the death penalty to.
Yeah,
They're just not.
There was somebody who got the death penalty in like the 70s, and only like last week was he finally executed, which is crazy. That's ridiculous how long they have people waiting.
Well, I think there was a guy in the early 90s out here, California, that killed these kids and ate their sandwich. He was white, and they did execute him. This is probably in the early 90s. I don't know the names or that much about it. I know he walked up to a couple of, minors, and he ended up murdering them.
Wow.
And he was on death row for a long time, but they did allow that execution to go through. But again, since 67, there really haven't been only but a handful of them in California.
Right.
And that's where I got that slogan from. And I think it fits today as well. Probably more so today than it did then. The guy they executed was a cop killer at that time.
Yeah.
It was April 67, if anyone wants to look it up.
It's serious business, man.
Well, I don't know why it's so serious. I mean, the death penalties, it's not that involved.
Right. It shouldn't be.
No, I mean, even if you don't agree with the gas chamber, you can execute them with the firing squad.
Right.
Which
Some
is
people
quick,
have.
and some states, I think, allow it.
Somebody did it within the past couple of years.
Yeah, I heard about it. Was that in Utah or Arizona or somewhere?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, some of the states, still have it. Maybe Texas.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to give Anthony the death penalty if he's convicted?
Oh, Carmelo? No way. They're not going to do it. Because of people.
You mean
gone
convict him?
Even if they
or death penalty?
Death penalty. They're not going to do the death penalty on Carmelo Anthony.
Do you think he'll be convicted?
I don't know. I think I lean towards, I think he will be convicted, but I don't know. I wouldn't be all that surprised if they find a way not to. Not that I'm hoping. I'm hoping for a just outcome, in which he's as one of my callers said, put away for a long time, because
but he's only a kid now.
I know, but he's not anymore. Actually, he's probably 18 by now, I think. But I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, but still, he's young enough to live 40, 50 years.
Right. Yeah, he can get out when he's in his 50s or something. And
if we get another president like Biden or Obama, they'll probably pardon him. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, but it would have to be it's a state crime that he committed. It's not it's not a federal crime that he committed unless they do some civil rights crap.
Well, or a commie governor would unfortunately take over Texas.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised with that happening. It's Texas is turning as corrupt as the rest.
Yeah, one hope there is that this John Cornyn will be defeated by the Attorney General Paxton. Paxton's good on immigration. Cornyn isn't. Cornyn is not MAGA. So if anybody from Texas is listening, think about that when you vote. So that's all I got, Hake.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Take care.
Happy White History Month. Thank you.
You
Bye-bye.
as well. Bye. Mark from Los Angeles mentioned John Cornyn, a so-called senator. He just looks weak, doesn't he? Look at him. I'll have to try to look strong calling him weak. But 73 years old, but no sense. Anti-Trump, American so-called politician John Cornyn, C-O-R-N-Y-N, the third, a so-called American politician, attorney, meaning a lawyer, former jurist, a judge he was, apparently, right? The jurist means judge, I think. Serving, so-called, as the U.S. senior senator from Tejas. The junior senator is Ted Cruz, the more recently first put in. Member of the Republican Party, RINO. somebody pointed out that rhino is an obsolete term because they're all like, it's a party of rhinos. Was it ever good? Or was it just pretending all along? He was on the Texas Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court, 91 to 97. AG of Texas, 99 to 02. Whew. His descendants include Haley and Danley. Interesting name, Danley. What a mess. How do you get to be such a mess? So Ken Paxton, I guess, is the guy running against him. Charles Grassley. I kind of like Grassley, just because he's old. Chip Roy. I think Chip Roy is sort of hit and miss, and honestly, so is Cruz. I kind of like Cruz, but he's just such a politician and such a lawyer, you know. Oof. Oh, you don't insult my wife. Whatever. I guess they're representative of the weakness and intellectualness, phoniness of the country. Brutal. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. Let me just double check on the chat. What's up, T-Flying Monkey? Yeah, Ted Cruz is Canadian. No offense, Canadians. Calgary Ted, one person called him. Calgary Ted, because he was born in Calgary, I think. He's an anchor baby from Canada, as Trump said. Lion Ted. And I didn't understand the Lion Ted thing. I did see that he was a phony politician compared to Trump, Ted Cruz. And again, I do sort of like and sort of respect Ted Cruz. I like and respect his dad, too, Rafael Cruz. Rafael. Cuban. Former communist, I believe. But he does these like long pauses and kind of pretends to be deep. It's just night and day seeing a real normal person like Trump, our greatest president, and then seeing Ted Cruz and all the rest of the phonies, you know? Whew. That's the way the ball bounces, I guess. What's up, Jim in Alaska and Nicole over there on punchy.tv? My stream was disconnecting and reconnecting over on pilled.net, but that's common on the pilled.net platform lately. Nice. What a mess. What's up, Pilled? Persian Cucumber, a Lion Dog. Lion Dog 17 called Ardene is a Karen. Don't use that anti-white term. Sign language is distracting to me too, he says. Very nice. Okay, so John Cornyn, Rhino, Ted Cruz, RINOs, fakes, and sign language distraction. It looks silly. It just does. So let us see. Let me touch on murders. We talked about murders with, it's a rough situation. Murders, it's not good. Murders are down. This was from Pocket, okay? Far left extremist NPR. Murders are down nationwide. Researchers point to a key reason. I was surprised that they're still pushing this, because I don't know if it's true or not. NPR reports this. And Pocket headlines, you know, when you go on the far left extremist Firefox, who got rid of their Christian co-founder, or whatever he was, inventor of Java, for voting for Prop 8, that marriage is between a man and a woman. They were promoting Pocket, which is also extremist selection of liberal headlines generally, and some useful life tips, I guess, maybe. Meg Anderson was reporting on this article, the number of homicides is falling dramatically nationwide. And I don't know if it's true, in 2024, murders fell by at least 14% across the United States, per analyses from the data firm Datalytics and Council on Criminal Justice, a nonpartisan think tank. Whatever. Sounds liberal. Official data from the FBI goes only through 2023, but shows similar drops, so they claim. Early analyses, the drop will be even bigger in 2025. In Detroit, for instance, city officials think the number of homicides is lowest since 1965. What, are they, all the people left town? Is it kind of like Baltimore, where the city has shrunk, the population has shrunk? Police Chief Todd Bettison says it's led to a huge difference for his officers. They're not drinking from a fire hose, he says, metaphorically speaking. Oh, Lord, look at this. The world. Pardon me. They're trying to get money because Trump defunded NPR, or they're going to, or something. The number of crimes typically rises or falls by only a few percentage points each year. You think about a really large ship, it doesn't turn fast. These things don't change fast, he says. They point to policing as a key component of why crime falls. How many officers a city has or how they're being deployed. That can play an important role, but crime analysts say the reasons behind these drops are more complex and broader. You know, why crime increased, a big part of the reason was out-of-wedlock births increased, and these mothers don't raise kids well. You look at the prisons, most of them they didn't have their father in the home, I think I'm right about that. That's what I heard. Fathers are more sensible and orderly and natural authority. When a mother doesn't have natural authority, that's why it looks ridiculous to have Karen Bass leading that presentation. Let me close that Kanye thing. Karen Bass leading that news conference. It's a joke. Looks ridiculous. Sounds ridiculous. And truly is ridiculous. The stuff that she's actually she's for everything evil. Anyway, despite fewer police officers nationwide now than before the China virus scamdemic, you mean before Black Lives Matter got a whole lot of people to quit or to retire early? That's funny that they don't bring up that. Anyway, because it was amid the scamdemic that a whole lot of police officers quit, because it was during the scamdemic that the Black Lives Matter riots were encouraged, and even more cops have been charged. And 2014 Black Lives Matter riots, and 2015 Freddie Gray in Baltimore, those cops were charged, and cops could see that they're getting prosecuted for doing their job. Graphs of the number of murders over the last 5 years look like a roller coaster hill. After a surge of violence in 2020 and 2021, the trend line has fallen over the last 3 years, they're saying. Because people realized, Black Lives Matter is wrong. Maybe. Or they're just so overwhelmed, they're not even documenting everything. We're seeing not just declines, but large declines and large across the board declines. It's everywhere, she claims. Researchers who study crime caution no one thing causes violence to rise or fall, they claim. They like to keep the water muddy. They don't like to keep things clear. So criminologists tend not to be honest, tend to be liberal. The only thing that happened in America during this period is out of the same scale as the pandemic. Pandemic changed how you spend your day, what you do. All of a sudden, there are a lot of young people more likely to commit crimes than older people at home with little to do. Vital support system ripped away. Public services. City's local government workforce shrank by nearly 10%. That's the biggest. They're the biggest employer of teachers, coaches, counselors, aides with people that young people connect with. They're pretending that that is the answer to crime or an answer to crime. They employ physical health, mental health, behavioral health providers. Yeah, that thing makes you more hopeful and less criminal, they pretend. They fund your entire community center. Just replace families, what a family should do, with something the government should do in their evil minds. So, in Detroit, the police chief credits some of the murder decline there to changes in policing techniques and higher officer staffing levels. He says, blah, blah, blah. I wonder what crimeresearch.org says. John R. Lott, Jr., Ph.D., and I don't know if he has a check on the 2024 crime stats, but he said less than a year ago, maybe a little bit more than, he said several months ago, September of 2024, right? We're in July 2025. New 2023 FBI reported crime data is out. FBI adjusted for previous years. In 2022, the FBI had previously shown reported violent crime was down 2.1%. But now it's up 4.5%, a net change of 80,000 more violent crimes. The media refuses to cover the data on total violent crime. Pretty interesting. So they report, it's kind of like their economy reports. Oh, when it's a Democrat in office, they report the economy is great, and then they adjust it. Oh, actually, it's not that great. They do the same thing with crime. Oh, the crime is down under Biden and all these Democrat mayors and stuff like that. Oh, wait, actually, it's going up. Let's not report that. A 4.1% increase rather than a 2% decrease. There were more. There were more that were not counted. Shockingly, the FBI's September press release with the 2023 data doesn't mention the changes to the earlier data, and the original drop in violent crime was actually an increase, not a drop. They didn't mention the new reported increase in 2022 was larger than the claimed decrease in 2023. Wow, what a mess. And here's another one. April of 2024, more than a year ago. The media say that crime is going down at the Wall Street Journal. He did an op-ed. This is John R. Lott, Jr., Ph.D. He's been on the JLP show. He's been on Real Vincent James's podcast. He's been on Fox News. He's written articles for different outlets, including apparently the Wall Street Journal, huh? Dr. John R. Lott, Jr., Ph.D., writing for the RINO outlet, Wall Street Journal. I call it RINO because they're rhinos. But anyway, the media says crime is going down, but don't believe it. The decline in reported crimes is a function of less reporting, he says, not less crime. Well, more recently, though, he has said that crime is going down, but it's thanks to these criminal aliens getting deported and stuff, and the fear of being deported. So, how a lot of these illegals are staying home. I wonder if that's true. John R. Lott, Jr. Now, there's been a guy whom I really like. I don't know if I trust him. I don't know if he's right or not. But there's this guy, Richard Spencer, who has been on my show, pro-white, kind of pro-Biden. He was pro-Trump. He's like, hail Trump, hail victory. And now he just feels like a troll. but I consider him fairly serious. But he doesn't necessarily believe or trust or agree with. He has some criticisms, and I don't know what they are, of John R. Lott Jr. of Crime Prevention Research Center. CrimeResearch.org is where I got this. CrimeResearch.org is John R. Lott Jr., PhD, who is a little bit more involved and honest than the government, I think. Maybe a lot more honest and involved than the government. And then the media. He may have biases himself. I don't know. I couldn't say. But he did some really great debunking of this black liberal anti-Second Amendment attorney general under Obama, the male one, who claimed that the Ferguson report showed that the Ferguson police were targeting blacks, and actually, no, not really. He exposed how, for example, blacks die in car accidents at a rate twice their share of car owners. And those who die in accidents are more likely, those blacks who die in those car accidents are more likely than others who die in car accidents, the average, to have prior moving violations, traffic tickets and stuff. So this whole driving while black thing is a bit of a joke, because these blacks are more reckless drivers than they let on. They speed more, they violate the law more. And so all this, oh, I was stopped just for being black, is in their imagination oftentimes. It's a lie oftentimes. And they're generally just dishonest people. These Black Lives Matter types who are like, oh, Sandra Bland, she was pulled over for not signaling or something like that. Yeah, she didn't signal. And then she had this excuse for not signaling, and okay, whatever, I'm fine with the excuse. I accept the excuse. But then she gets all aggressive and fighting with the cop, and then she commits suicide in jail. Her friends don't come and get her, and she's a miserable person. And they want to say, oh, they want to blame the police for her dying. It doesn't make any sense. And they want to say, oh, she was arrested for not signaling. No, she was arrested for getting all crazy and assaulting the cop, fighting with the cop like a crazy woman. Rest in peace, Sandra Bland. She was miserable in her own mind and evil heart. But they want to blame the cops. I heard, didn't somebody say an angry person is a victim in their own mind, in her own mind? So, again, I don't know if this guy is right about this stuff. Crime Prevention Research Center, John R. Lott Jr., PhD. He's a pro-Second Amendment guy, by the way. More Guns, Less Crime, I think, is one of his books. And he's also said more police is safer for both the police and the criminal being picked up. Not fewer police, more police. I'm laughing at the chat. Think about it when you have like America, overpowering force, right? When America does a police action, a policeman of the world, right? Whether it's right or wrong to do it, they do it, and they have an overwhelming show of force. They're less likely even to fire a shot, the bad guys, the so-called bad guys, the non-Americans. Because they're like, oh, okay, uncle. uncle is what they say, meaning they give up. They cry uncle. Because, duh, there's no resisting. There's no chance. You have no chance of getting away. Whereas a squirrely guy, he may be able to get away from 5 cops. And then the cops catch up to him and beat him to death. Rest in peace. Tyree Nichols. It's crazy that you have to have... We have this whole criminal culture, and it's so crazy now. What a shame. So that's the story on the murders. I don't know if the murders are down really or up really. Up? Why? Who knows? John R. Lott, L-O-T-T, Jr., Ph.D. Very cool. I love it. Let's double check for super chats, guys. 1-888-775-3773. But hang tight, callers. There is one line open. Hang tight. I have other stuff that I wanted to get to here. You know how they claimed that and I don't know what the truth is too about this either, but the Trump tariffs, you know, he's doing these tariffs. Are they or are they not causing U.S. prices to spike? CBS says they're not. Megan Cerulo, whatever. Despite concerns earlier this year that Trump's tariffs would cause a renewed bout of inflation, the prices have remained relatively stable. So all of the sky is falling is actually fake. Consumer price index rose 2.4%. Cooler than the economists expected. Don't listen to the economists. They don't know. Many businesses have been creative and savvy in using different means to buffer the initial shock, says one economist. Yeah, exactly. So these silly economist people, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't predict the future. You can't predict the future. That doesn't mean that consumers and businesses battered by the highest inflation in decades during the overreaction to the scamdemic pandemic are out of the woods, says one guy. Prices are likely to rise as tariffs gradually push up import costs in the second half of the year. Blah, 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 blah. We'll see what happens. Nice. There was aggressive front-loading. Trump announced a range of tariffs in Canada, Mexico, China, dozens of other countries. Many companies scrambled to stock up or front-load on products to avoid incurring added tariff costs. And so there's all kinds of things that they're doing to, you know, keep their business going. And you know what? This sort of reminds me of this post, which is looking pretty stupid about now. I saw this. The sky is falling. Trump is horrible. Secular Talk, Kyle Kulinsky. He's been on the JLP show. He's a liberal. He's an atheist, I guess. This was what he posted a few weeks ago, June 16th. This was when all of you guys were panicked because Trump went into Iran, right? For all the MAGAs out there, he didn't call you maggots. For all the MAGAs out there, Trump wasn't tricked, quote unquote, by the quote unquote neocons. This person is looking as ridiculous as Hake using all these quotes around him. He doesn't, quote unquote, mean well. He's not, quote unquote, anti-war. He's doing more quotes than Hake, or as many. You know he's getting emotional. Do you get now that he's always been a warmonger? And when campaigning, he simply talked out of both sides of his mouth? He ripped up the Iran agreement. That was the Obama one. The Obama-Iran nuclear deal. Illegally bombed and murdered an Iranian general. That was Soleimani. Bombed Syria twice. Bombed Somalia. I didn't know about the Somalia one. Tried to coup Venezuela. Oh yeah, was that little Marco who was for that? Armed Saudi Arabia as they did a genocide in Yemen. I didn't know that Saudi Arabia did this. He's educating me right now. I'm presuming that he's correct on some of these facts, right? Just not his analysis, I think. Pretty sure he's wrong about the analysis. Saudi Arabia did a genocide in Yemen? I'll have to ask, I'll have to get Omar, Third Rail Omar on about that. See if that's true. If there's, you know, increased drone strikes 432%. Whoa, that's big. Is that true? Over Obama? Obama was all proud of himself. I'm getting pretty good at droning. They say that he said. Increase the defense budget every year. Okay, whatever. Because Obama decreased, like he made our military weaker in many ways. Gave Israel the Golan Heights, which didn't do anything really, right? Or did it? Maybe it was bad. And this was all in the first term. Wake up, denounce Trump, apologize for supporting him, and say that he should be impeached. That's ridiculous, though, because Obama was the same, or maybe worse, got a lot of Americans killed. Bush was the same. Like, how are you going to... Nobody impeached Obama or Bush. It's dumb. Comic Dave Smith was able to do it. Prove that you've woken up from the cult. And then you can actually help try to fix this country. So said this guy. He's seeming pretty shrill. And this guy, Reza Beast, says Trump has been the opposite of a warmonger. And this person is I don't know. This is him, Reza. I don't know him. But he said something that sounds truer than what this guy is saying, sounding all shrill. Right now, watching closely how he deals with this, common sense states from a position of extreme power he will make a deal to stop Iran from having nuclear power. And I said last week, I guess, Kyle's post looks pretty stupid right now. To be honest, it always did. Just pushing the algorithm to his followers. Dude is too self-centered and R-worded, retarded, Ray, not raped, to have an actual opinion. Interesting. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I'll just click like because he responded to me. Not because I agree with it necessarily. Oh, yeah, by the way, this guy's dating that beautiful older woman, though. I think he's dating her. Crystal Ball. She's like my age. I think she already has children. She prayed with JLP, by the way, at Politicon. And he's dating her. She is or was co-hosts with Sagar and Jetty. Sagar and Jetty was on my show, on the Hake Report, one time. Shout out to my former de facto producer. Sagar and Jetty was a, sort of right wing, but sort of disavowed our friend and your friend and my friend, former Congressman Steve King, because he didn't like that Steve King used language about cockroaches or something like that. What a mess. And Congressman King explained, he was on my show also, and explained the cockroaches comment. But people are, they're not actually for the freedom of speech. And they fall for the dishonest attacks on people. But I just found that this guy is not to be trusted. Give me a break. And all you people who are like, oh, we're going to war for Israel. Where's the war? Oh, maybe it's going to happen next week. Then I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, you guys were right. But where is it? It's gone away. Nobody's talking about Iran right now. They're married. Secular Talk is married to Crystal Ball. And by the way, what type of name is that? That's a demonic. And I'm looking up Crystal Ball right now. TV show host. Look at how cute and pretty she is there. But she's 43 years old. Yeah, she's a little bit, just a few months younger than me. Spouse Kyle Kulinsky and Aaron Peterson. So she was married first to Aaron Peterson. Why is her name not Peterson? 2006 to 2007. And they married in 2023. And Kyle Kulinsky is what, in his 30s? Kyle Kulinsky, let's find out. I mean, he has a strong personality, sort of. He's, you know, doesn't seem shy. Yeah, 1988. 37. Married to 43-year-old Kyle Edward Kulinsky, left-wing political commentator, media host. He has a big YouTube channel. But she was like cable TV. Oh, yeah, he dyed his hair. That looks different. They look okay as a couple, but he just seems young. Like, he seems like a young YouTuber, and she seems like a almost Gen X cable TV woman. And she has kids, right? Doesn't she already have kids by that? But anyway, I guess that's the sign of the times. It's all too common now, but it's just shout out. Polish and Italian is Kulinsky. Not a Christian. His dad died, which he believes is due to inadequate health care. So he didn't have his father. So whatever. Looking pretty dumb. Looking pretty beside himself. And yeah. I'm sure I've written stuff that's just as dumb. Okay. All right, so complicated business, folks. Complicated business. Hang tight, callers. Let me just double check for your super chats. American Anchor Baby is going to be coming up shortly here. Let me check your chats. What's up, Jules? Piece in the puzzle. Age of Inversion. Nice to see you guys. What's up, D Live Crew? MX Murderer. Kilo Alpha Tango. What's up, Christopher? Zazen. Tu Padre, who always retracts Agent 48, whatever his name is. Give up, callers. No, don't give up. Let me just go to your callers, you callers, real quick. Let me try to get to as many as possible. Christian in Utah is on the line over here. Christian, go ahead,
what's up, man.
Hey.
Hey, happy White History Month.
Thank you. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you, man. How's everything going?
Going fine. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to mention a white history invention. I don't know if it's been mentioned on the show at all or Jesse's, but Orville and Wilbur Wright, the Wright brothers, they invented the airplane.
That's good. Orville and Wilbur Wright?
Yeah, right.
Wright.
That's right.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, that's all I wanted to mention. And if you got tons of other callers, then, yeah, and I just hope everything's going well, man.
When was that? Do you remember?
Google can tell me.
Okay, yeah. I remember reading about the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk, Kitty Hawk, Hawk. But
what's that?
That's just where they did their thing. I think I associate it with Kitty Hawk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
The Wright brothers.
That's
Well,
awesome.
happy White History Month. I guess you're giving us some homework. The Wright brothers.
Oh, yeah. The Wright brothers. But, yeah, I wish everything's going well, man. And, you know, God bless to you and Bond. And, yeah, just keep doing what you guys are doing. And God bless.
That sounds good. Thank you, man. Take care, Christian.
All right, have a good one.
All right.
You too.
Bye. Anthony over in SoCal on the line here. Anthony, what's up, man?
Hey, Hake. Thanks for taking my call, man. I was curious. You know, I was going to make some comments about the White History Month, but I was curious with the death penalty Mark was talking about. In my perspective, isn't it like what's the motivation for the death penalty? I'm curious what you think.
There are different motivations for the death penalty. It's a long tradition dating back thousands of years, and all traditions are not to be done away with just because we don't know, you know. Another is a deterrent. Another is it's just plain just. You kill somebody, or you maybe sometimes rape, I guess, is sometimes some people are for the death penalty in the case of legitimate forcible rape. Those are cause for killing the person. You know, the authorities, given their authority by God to mete out justice on someone. Also, well, I mentioned the deterrent. I mentioned the tradition. I mentioned the justness of it. Is there anything else? I think that covers it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, with regards to the deterrent and justice, and correct me if I want your
tradition
thoughts on
also includes biblical, biblical wisdom, justice. You know what the Bible says. That's also part of tradition. But go ahead.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll avoid the tradition part. I'll just focus on justice and a deterrent. I mean, isn't like when people commit suicide, you know, they're basically escaping their problems in some form. And I'm leaving out a lot of nuance.
Yes.
And I kind of see the death penalty. I mean, if we're looking at justice and a deterrent, why don't we have them work for the rest of their lives doing things that, you know, normal people do and end up being depressed and killing themselves for anyways? You know, why put them out of their misery like that? That's what I don't understand. It seems a better deterrent is to show how miserable the rest of their lives will be. And it kind of just seems like if we're going to seek justice, that would inflict the most damage on a person versus just killing them, which basically is putting them out of their misery. I mean, is that thinking faulty? What do you think?
I think it is faulty because there's a difference between killing yourself in a hurry because you're in a panic over what you've done and what you're about to face versus somebody taking your life against your will, meaning the state, the authorities taking your life against your will. You'll notice that people, even after they commit suicide sometimes, or they do the thing that's killing them, they end up fighting for their life because there is this instinct or impulse, or when it comes down to it, really, you want to live, you want to be alive. You know, a lot of people regret jumping after they jump off the bridge, and some of them survive. There was one guy who was interviewed by Jesse who tried to commit suicide off the Golden Gate Bridge, and he realized, what did I do? I want to live. And so he curled up into a ball, and I don't know, he broke his spine, he broke a bunch of bones, but he survived. And that's common. So people want to live. I'm not for the death penalty always. And part of my reasoning is emotional. Like, I don't like it. You know, I don't like the notion of dying. I wouldn't want to die. I would want a chance to live. Not that I hope ever to commit something worth getting that, obviously. But it is it's plenty good of a punishment, especially if it's done right, you know, and right away. I gotta run though, man. I can't.
right,
I don't have any time for follow up. Let's talk again. I love this
that was
topic.
a good argument. Good argument. All right.
Take
Appreciate
care,
your
man.
time, Hake.
All right.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. I gotta go, guys. American Anchor Baby is coming up next. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts.
Isn't this a vibe?
Bye.
Check this out. Hey.